Hey, sports fans, Coach Nick here, and welcome to the BBallBreakdown live show, post-game / podcast recording for tomorrow. As always, I'm joined by Dave DuFour at Dave DuFour NBA. Dave, we had an interesting game, probably the best the Cavs have played, maybe in all the playoffs, but to no avail.
Yes, I mean, maybe game one they played a little bit better, but this series has been fun, man. It's been really good, and Rodney Hood sort of being the secret weapon for the Cavs was really interesting, and it was a lot of fun. And LeBron was, he had a 33-point triple-double. And all we're going to talk about is Kevin Durant, because Kevin Durant, I mean, this was his game. I mean, this was 2017 Finals Kevin Durant. It was just insane. And for a long time there, the rest of the Warriors were doing nothing to help him out. And KD kept him in this game and ultimately won the game. So, wow, it was a fun game. Man, it was great.
Let's talk about KD for a second, because quite honestly, I would say, he took 23 shots. He was 15 for 23. I might argue that of the 8 shots he missed, I would think maybe 6 were I didn't like them at all. So there was a moment there where he kind of just got into an FU mode with everybody. He was just trying to shoot it. But it's hard. You can't really criticize a guy who shot that well, 6 for 9 from 3, and that dagger 3, which people want to make it like it was in that same area as it was last year when he pulled up. But obviously that was a pull up versus a static standing around, shot clock winding down, contested 3. It ends the series, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, that's a wrap. Whether or not it's going to be a sweep, I don't know. We could see the Warriors come out and kind of punt game 4 and finish this up in
right.
Oracle. But, man, what a game for Kevin Durant. And not to be lost in all of this is how terrible Steph Curry was.
Probably his worst game ever, I think.
Yeah, it might be. I mean, he was borderline historically bad. It was almost John Starks.
Yeah, wow.
I read this. Apparently, after Ray Allen hit his 8 threes in the 2010 finals, he went 0 for 8 from 3 in the next game. And so Curry actually started this game 0 of 9. So,
yes, he did. Well, here's the other thing that you have to worry about as far as the Cavaliers' perspective is that, 2 of their players, their best shooters, had the worst shooting games maybe of their careers, or certainly Curry did, and they win. And so now you're going to go into game 4 where you know that they're going to shoot better from the 3. They just are. In fact, Curry could actually have this as an impetus to go off and break his record, right? Who knows what he's going to do, but it'll be better than 0 for, what did he go? I'm sorry, 0 for 11? Oh, 1 for 10 from 3.
Yeah.
And so, that is a real concern for the Cavaliers without question. And I don't know. That's why I think that a sweep certainly sounds in order. Also, it just feels like the energy is now let out of the bag here for the Cavaliers. They came out, they played really, really well in that first quarter, and yet they could not get any separation from the Warriors, who were turning the ball over. They were giving up a lot of offensive rebounds, everything the Cavs wanted to do. The Cavs were hitting threes. So, listen, I don't think anyone's going to argue that the Cavaliers are a better team. We kind of knew the Warriors are going to win. It's just a question of how many games. And at this point, it just feels like I don't know what the Cavs are going to be able to bring in game 4. I guess more Rodney Hood. My whole Kyle Korver thing from today is just he let me down. He just let me down.
Yeah, Kyle Korver looks 37 years old when he tries to play against the Warriors. That's what they do to people. So, and especially to him. I mean, he struggled against them. This isn't the first time that he struggled against the Warriors. So, I mean, Rodney Hood, man, might have saved his contract for next year with this game. I don't want to go overboard and say, he looks like a guy who should be starting for them, but I wouldn't be shocked if he starts game 4 just to try it, just to see what happens.
Right. Okay. Which is another key here, because who would he start for? Obviously, J.R. Smith, because I argued that J.R. Smith, I could do a whole montage for the whole playoffs. In fact, for his whole career, about how bad he is on the weak side on defense and how lost he gets. How many times are we going to see LeBron yelling at him because he's involved with him on a weak side screen and pin down, and the screener slips to the basket for a layup every time? It's crazy. And that last one where Draymond got a dunk that really, really iced the game. He helped one pass away off the corner when Rodney Hood had gotten back in position and give up a dunk. The game's over. So I would be surprised if they changed the starting lineup. It's clearly Rodney Hood is the guy who would have to. You have to get rid of J.R. Smith, right?
Yeah, and Hood's defense was actually great tonight. He blocked Sean Livingston on a mid-range jumper, which is just insane to even think that could be possible. So I thought he played with a lot of vigor tonight, and that's something that, frankly, was missing in that spot. And I mean, it was nice to see. I'm a huge Rodney Hood fan, and really thought he was going to pull it all together. I also love any left-handed player for some reason. So, it was nice to see him come out and have that game, especially after he kind of quit on this team earlier in the playoffs. He refused to enter a game, and somehow that just kind of, got lost in the shuffle. So I'm hoping that internally things are good, right? Like maybe that they're over that, whatever the miscommunication was, and they go forward this offseason and hopefully that guy gets some money. But yeah, back to this. So J.R. Smith, actually, he overplayed a KD post up at like 20 feet from the basket, and KD just turns the shoulder and gets draws the help and hits Livingston for a dunk with a really nice pass. That was sort of indicative of what his defenses look like almost all playoffs, much less the series. So.
Well, it's that fake hustle, right, where it looks like, oh, I'm really trying, but you're just basically disengaging. There's another one, too, in my mind's eye I'm picturing, where he did the same thing where, it goes back to even the thing where he almost hurt Klay in Game 2, and then he gave up the half-court buzzer, or the halftime buzzer to Curry. It's all this like, oh, I'm just going to just dive around and jump, and that looks like I'm giving effort, but it's just completely misplaced. You can't win. We talked about this last time. I don't think he's not a guy you can win a title with. 2016, be damned. He's just the guy you cannot have on a really good to play against a really good team.
Yeah, it's just too difficult to have one guy who constantly makes mental mistakes, and everyone else kind of has to cover for that guy. And then they already have Kevin Love, who they sort of have to cover for when he gets caught on the switches. So, it's too much. And if JR's not going to hit shots, although tonight he did start out well, he hit a few shots. But if he's not going to hit shots consistently, especially since the majority of what he's getting are just, spot ups, then yeah, you got to figure something else out. But speaking of Kevin Love had a great first half and then was a ghost in the second half. What happened?
That's a great question. Let's figure that out, because I was taking notes throughout to kind of figure out how they were attacking. I mean, I think what happened was LeBron sort of just went ISO mode a lot. It sort of, he was, because here's the thing, LeBron in the first half was really moving the ball. Did he have like 9 assists in the first half, something like that?
Yeah.
And he
only
finished
14 points.
And he finished with 11. So that shows you what happened. He decided to flip the switch and sort of be a lot more aggressive, right? He kind of felt like he was forcing that switch to Curry again. Oh, I know it. And by the way, let me talk about that. So there's a moment in the third quarter where I just got kind of upset watching the Cavaliers play offense, because it was the same thing over and over and over again. And whether it's maybe I just need variety. I just like what excites me about basketball is the you never know what you're going to get, right? There's a bit of surprise every time down. The ball moves and things change. They weren't doing that, and that it's really just aesthetically a problem, and I think it hurts guys like Kevin Love.
Yeah, but he looked aggressive tonight starting out, and it looked like one of those games, where nobody's going to complain about the officiating in this game. That's one thing I learned from Twitter tonight.
You mean everybody's going to complain about the officiating?
No, nobody's, only on the court. They're not complaining on Twitter. But they were letting him get physical inside, and Kevin Love was taking advantage. I mean, he had a rebound that, I mean, I don't know if I've seen him exert that much force on a basketball court ever. Right. And had a nice little hook shot out of that. I mean, he was really looking to score. It was kind of a continuation of what he did in Game 2. And then it disappeared. And part of that, I wonder, as we saw Rodney Hood sort of assert himself in the second half of this game, Kevin Love sort of fell by the wayside a little bit. Right. Rodney Hood did a great job attacking closeouts, which is something that Cleveland's been missing completely. No one on this team for them has been attacking closeouts at all. It's I don't know. It's a weird. They've got a weird roster anyway, so it was kind of a weird game.
I mean, I'm willing to blame LeBron for that. In fact, I was having a conversation with friend of the breakdown, Eli Horowitz, who's definitely going to come on the podcast to talk more about what we had on the phone today. But basically, we're kind of discussing the notion of LeBron. You know, like when you and I were growing up, Magic Johnson was sort of the gold standard point guard, ball dominant, big guard. But he was the guy who always understood, okay, you know, Worthy hasn't gotten the shot in a few possessions. We got to get him a shot on that right block he's so good at, right? Or Byron Scott, we're going to get him a shot. He hasn't gotten one yet. He knew how to manage the game that way, you know, in a savant-like way. I think Rondo has that. Now, I don't think that LeBron James has it. I think that there's an ego thing there where he decides that he is going to control everything, which I think is fine because he is that good, but I don't think he can handle the ability to recognize that situation. So there's a prime example. Kevin Love was 6 for 10 in the first half and 10 rebounds and, you know, just getting shots all over the place. And then completely disappears. He got 5 points in the second half, and I think and again, as we discussed, that is a thing that's on LeBron if he's going to be that ball dominant. And I think that might be the one thing if you ever needed to try and criticize LeBron for anything, that might be it.
I think that's sort of an old school point guard thing. The guy with the counter in his head, you know, Isaiah Thomas. Oh, I know Vinnie Johnson had touched the ball in a couple of positions, things like that. You know, and that's how, you know, we probably grew up. At least that's how I grew up being coached. You know, you need to keep track of who's touching the ball, make sure everybody gets a touch, things like that. But with LeBron James, like, you know how it's going to work. The possession is going to be he's going to have the ball, he's going to draw the defense, and then he's going to make a pass. And you get basically one pass, maybe two. You know, maybe that guy makes the next pass. But other than that, I mean, this has sort of been their offense. This is how they've been successful. Last year, you know, they had one of the best offenses of all time. So, you know, with the same sort of scheme. Now, they don't have the same guys this year. This is not the same team from last year. So, you know, it's a whole different world. And, you know, this series, if it's shown us anything else, it's the value that Kyrie Irving provided for this team. His ability to go out, create a look, you know, to be someone other than LeBron that could create looks not only for himself but for other people.
Right. And by the way, it was a necessity. He had to create for himself because LeBron wasn't existing in an offense that would create other shots for other people other than like a drive by him or a post-up by him and then a whip out for a shot. And that's the thing that we see, like a dichotomy between the Warriors, right? They get side to side. They get multiple passes into possession, much more than the Cavaliers do. Now, what's frustrating about that to me is that when the Cavaliers do that, it looks beautiful, and the shots are beautiful. And when they bog down in their force a switch of Curry onto LeBron, now, part of it is, and I will fully admit, like, I'm an underdog kind of guy. I don't like bully ball. I don't really like seeing him, you know, just throw his shoulder down, use that. By the way, and he's a master at using his left arm. Have you noticed that? Like, he goes to his right. He uses his left arm, and he doesn't get it out too far, but it's a battering ram, and it kind of goes down into the waist and the top of the thigh area. And that just staggers guys back. And they I guess they let him do it, so we can't complain it's a foul. But to me, it's like, let's get him coming off of a dribble handoff. Let's him compress the defense in the middle of the floor and then get a kick out. Let's get some traditional movement on the basketball floor rather than what they're doing. I think they'd be better. They probably would have had at least one win.
Yeah, I mean, you know, they going away from the elbow action that they've used the last few years, you know, things like that. But again, they don't have the bodies to run off those, you know, the high post split, right? Like
they're pros. They got Kevin Love.
Yeah, okay, but
Hill.
You know, Kevin Love. Like, remember what was the play? Oh, it was elbow rub.
Yeah,
that they used to run for Richard Jefferson all the time. Like that to me, Larry Nance. Why wouldn't they run that with Larry Nance?
I know.
Right?
Okay, so great. So here's the question. Like, I don't even know if they're running much of that. Maybe out of a timeout, they kind of get something out of that, but they're not. Like, if you were comparing the out of timeout plays from the Warriors versus the Cavaliers, and I did this when the Warriors won the first time. It's like they waste so many opportunities when the ball is stopped and they can inbound and know exactly where the players are to run something really clever. Very frustrating. Whereas the Warriors do it, they're already more talented, and yet they're also out executing the Cavaliers. That's what's frustrating most to me. At least put yourself in positions. And by the way, all of that said, they were right there, right? They had leads. It was very close. You know, so it's not like they're getting destroyed by 40 points without doing these things. But man, you're talking about a player here or there. It's all the more reason why you need to have that execution.
I agree. I mean, this is sort of the same stuff we've been talking about all season with this team. It was why we had our doubts that LeBron was going to get them to the finals. And well, what did we learn? Don't doubt LeBron, at least to get out of the East. And it just goes to show that the Warriors are just in a different class. And I think Houston's in a different class. Like Houston probably would be doing, having similar success against Cleveland. And so, it's time for the Cavs. I think this summer, depending on what's happening with LeBron, they're very obviously going to have to go to the drawing board, look at this roster, see what changes they can make, what do they have in-house? What assets do they have other teams value? Again, Rodney Hood is going to be an interesting situation. He's a restricted free agent. He hasn't done himself any favors this season, and especially in the playoffs until tonight. I don't know that there are going to be offers out there. Will he consider maybe just signing his qualifying offer and trying to go, come in on a make good qualifying offer, be an unrestricted guy next summer? You would think that Cleveland wants to keep him around because he's clearly got talent. It's just finding a way to get him to maximize that talent.
Yeah, a part of me feels like I'd be surprised if he does stay, honestly. But let's move to the some of the questions that we have over on Periscope. Here's a good one. H. Cantrell 10 asks, so Curry lost Finals MVP tonight, right? Interesting question. We need to kind of look at who is going to get that trophy. What do you think?
I don't know. I mean, if you look at it, I guess KD has 2 good games and Curry has 2 good games. So
yeah, it's tomorrow. It's Friday night. Decides it, right?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Let's just give it to Iguodala again.
Yeah, right.
How about Klay? How about Klay Thompson?
Nah.
I mean, listen, like Klay is the most consistent player for the Warriors. Tonight, he actually rebounded the ball really well. Got some key rebounds, including kind of the game-clinching rebound there at the end. But not really. I think it's probably still Steph.
Right. We have 2 choices. I would think Steph is probably ahead by a nose. But, yeah, clearly it's going to – I mean, Friday's game is going to have to mean something to that, and they'll have to figure that out. So let's see here. Spoelstra had LeBron setting screens and involved in handoffs. This is from Ogby Ball. But LeBron wanted to play ISO in Cleveland. That is probably right. That seems to me, a real setting. Now, I got to remember back in Miami, but they did do some of that. But also, I had issues with their offense, too. I've had issues with LeBron James' offense teams through his whole career. And, if he is the one that's controlling the offense, and I think that most people sort of agree that, we've heard little snippets here and there about like just how much control he has. I just don't think it's possible to be able to manage that in game while you're also playing. It just doesn't seem possible to me, and I think we're seeing the results, at least from what I see.
I honestly think the biggest thing is the talent gap between these 2 teams. I think if Kyrie Irving's still there, this is a better series. I mean, it's already a good series.
Yeah.
Let's not forget that for essentially 11 out of 12 quarters, the Cavs have been in this thing. And, that's nothing to shake a stick at. I really think that, the idea that the league is broken needs to kind of go away a little bit. Like it's all about it. Basketball is a chess match.
Right.
And I think Ty Lue has done a really good job of playing chess in this series. I mean, there's no other way. When you look at these 2 rosters, the Warriors are so far out ahead of what Cleveland has. And yet Cleveland has been in this for 11 out of 12
Right. Absolutely. I want to make sure everyone hears me acknowledge that exactly. Now, but again, when it is that razor thin, you do need to have a little bit better. And by the way,
agreed.
The offensive thing is probably not even the issue here. I know Mike Zavano is going to yell at me for saying it's the offense because it is the defense too. I mean, they kind of go hand in hand, but without question, the defensive issues, they can't guard a weak side screen for their lives, even if it's not J.R. Smith. And, that's all the Warriors do. I mean, the Warriors can get a switch of J.R. Smith onto KD in the post every time down. And that's why we've seen KD just destroy them on these shots. It's like he's shooting over guys that there's no way they can contest those shots.
He's a ridiculous shot maker. I mean, some of the stuff he was shooting tonight.
He had a one on Love that was ridiculous to his left.
There's just no reason he should be hitting these jumpers. I mean, they're mid-range jumpers, so they're gimmies. I mean, he probably get hit 100 out of 100 unguarded in a gym. Yeah. But these are not unguarded in a gym. This is, in front of thousands of people, millions at home on TV with another guy who's 6'10" with a hand in his face. Right. It's just it's insane some of the stuff he was hitting.
For sure.
That and one falling away to his left was just
insane.
That was.
And let me give a quick shout out to Gigolo Puff out there over on YouTube, who's helping us keep the comments clean on the YouTube side. So thank you so much for that. We have a nice orange one. Again, I don't remember how they do that, but somebody's got a nice catch, caught my eye in the comments. How are the Cavs? This is ISM. How are the Cavs going to stop JaVale McGee? Another, he gets, he did start tonight, right? Am I losing my mind? He started.
Yeah, he'll be starting Game 4.
Yeah, and he looked terrific. I mean, he had for the game he had 10 points, but he probably had all those in the first, I think, or almost all those. Let's see here. JaVale had.
The third was big for him.
Oh, my fault. He had 2 points in the first, and then he had the third with the rest of them. So, he looked. I mean, by the way, he had a clunker again, I believe, near the basket that he missed. But either way, he provides something that they just don't have: athletic, vertical. The touch really isn't there. Oh, I know. Yeah, he had a great move on LeBron. And it turned into a running little hook, and he missed it. Can you picture that one, Dave?
Yeah, I remember.
But other than that, he played pretty much exactly the way they needed him to do it. And it's just to the point where don't you think he should have played some in the Houston series?
Absolutely, I actually said that. Just as to give him another look, and his vertical spacing. It works, and Draymond is such a willing lob passer, and Bell isn't the lob threat that they want him to be. JaVale actually is, and JaVale is smart about when to slip screens, and he actually makes contacts on the other screens, like the ones that he's supposed to. So, I mean, I think JaVale, while he, we pay attention to the kind of brain farts. For the most part, he's been a solid player for these guys, and I think in Game 2, while he looked good, he was his plus minus was 0, but he still had an impact on the game.
Right.
Beyond the box score, there was a lot of stuff he did, and Steve Kerr loves to come out of timeouts and out of halves and quarter breaks with lob plays, and JaVale is, it's a good lob target. So yeah, I think he's been really good for them. And again, he'll get the start in Game 4. I mean, sure. I thought he was good tonight.
They had a great.
And, hang on. And defensively, when he got switched on LeBron, he did a decent job staying in front of him, feeding him into the help, and KD comes over and gets a nice block. That's a huge luxury to have a guy, to have a 7-footer who can at least be fleet enough of foot to stay in front of LeBron to force him into Draymond or KD.
And there's another one where he kept him in front, and I think he forced a long shot that missed, but then he had another one where he just reached in after like 6 seconds of good defense and just kind of bailed him out. I don't know why, so maybe they'll go through the film and just sort of make that a teaching point. He'll get it. But yeah, clearly LeBron doesn't want to go into him and try and get him down low, driving on him. And JaVale's been doing a nice job keeping him in front. Chrono Shifter has a great question over on the Periscope side. What cue do you teach to recognize and decide to slip the screen? Do you want to take this one, Dave?
Well, I mean, I guess it depends on what your goal is as an offense. I'm assuming Kerr is coming into the night here are the key points, and when they're doing a hard show or that they're coming for the switch, that's the time to slip. Now you don't want to do it every single time. I think Livingston might be the smartest guy on the Warriors about. Well, maybe Klay. Actually, Klay's pretty good at it too, as far as picking the right spot to slip. Now, when you were teaching guys to slip, what did you used to do?
Well, if it's a pin down, right? In theory, your man's in front of you, right? You're facing the baseline, so you see him, and so you're kind of looking for him to be, sneaking up, whatever, to get up there, and then you also see the guy you're screening because he's in front of you as you're trying to screen. So it's that notion. One of the things is you got to set a couple good screens to kind of set it up. Usually, although now in the league they all slip everything, but so I'm kind of watching for the guy, my guy. And if he starts to slide up even with me or higher, even before the screen is set, then I will go on that kind of a pin down. You have other kind of screens where you're kind of cross screening. It might not be as easy to see, and it's kind of a feel thing. But clearly, it's really about where your man is, and what we're getting is that we get both the screener's man and the cutter's man going to the cutter. And that is why when I teach the defensive side of things, I stress, and this is a rule that people will argue with me, and it makes no sense to me, is if I'm the guy getting screened, I'm the guy who's calling switch. Nobody else. The screener's man does not call switch because what do we coach? We coach the guy guarding the cutter to stay with the man, fight over the screen whenever you can, and it only will I know if I can get around it or not. So, that's why he has to call it. And when you don't do it that way, that's when you see. And we keep, I mean, it's happened half a dozen times tonight where they go with the cutter. The guy, it's not even a slip. He's just like looking around going, damn, there's no one guarding me. And I go to the basket and they get a nice pass. So there you go. That's my excuse or my explanation for that one.
And then that miscommunication, that's when you wind up with, you leave Steph Curry open for one of his deep threes. You give him 3 feet and
right.
he, open shot for him. So, but yeah, you'd be shocked how many times you see the guy who's not getting screened calling for that switch.
Right. And it's just not his, because I guarantee you that he calls that switch. The guy finally fights over, yes, I did it, coach. And then, boom, they're both standing with the cutter. The guy's scoring. We have a great, interesting question here from, let's see here. Well, let's see if we can comment on this. Super Hot Fire 24 over on the Periscope was like, ask us, can we speak on LeBron being too predictable? I suppose, is that what was getting me in the third quarter so frustrated watching? That it's the predictability.
Yeah, probably. And it works against 26 or 27 out of the 30 teams in the league. That's the truth. And so you stick with what works, and it does work. And I think that's why Rodney Hood had so much success tonight. The Warriors hadn't seen him.
Yeah.
And it was pretty obvious they didn't really have a scouting report on him either, right?
Right.
So, I mean, he looked like a Sean Livingston clone quite a bit. He was operating in the mid-range, had a nice little turnaround. And it was funny that they struggled against it. But, I think that, the predictability, it's an issue. And we saw with Houston, right? Like, predictability, that makes it so, like, it's all about your talent. Houston has better talent, so they can get away with it a little bit more.
Sure.
Cleveland just doesn't have the talent to make it work. I mean, how many open shots have they missed in this series? It's insane.
Wow. Yeah.
And you stick a guy like if LeBron's throwing these passes to Chris Paul in the corner, or Trevor Ariza, a guy who's going to stick shots.
Yeah. Love and JR, aren't those guys supposed to proven?
Well, Love has shot okay.
Okay.
JR has not, right? But JR hasn't shot well in a little while.
Right.
So.
And by the way, Korver came off some pin downs, wide open, and he missed them. And he didn't catch the ball clean and all these things. And it was working. Like, they got the shot they wanted finally, and they were doing it. But, man, didn't look good. It started out bad because he got a quick shot inside, which he never takes, and it missed like a layup that was it wasn't open. It was sort of contested. He had to rush it. But, I don't know. I mean, it's an interesting chicken and egg thing about how they run their offense and whether that hurts the role players more than it needs to. We have a question in the YouTube section. Afro Nomo, it says, have the Warriors proved their, quote, lack of a bench, unquote, doesn't matter?
No, I don't think so. I think that, what we saw, like, they were very dependent on Andre Iguodala. I think that it matters that when Iguodala's out, they were kind of scrambling, trying to figure out who's going to fill this role for us. I think that kind of stuff's important. Andre Iguodala is the 5th most important player on that team. He was starting for them in the playoffs, and he went out, and then it was, okay, well, we're going to start Looney. We're going to start JaVale. We're going to, you know what I mean? We're going to play Nick Young more. I think that having a bench is important, and I expect the bench is going to be a major focus for Golden State this summer. They're going to be trying to upgrade at every bench spot.
Right.
They're probably not going to carry 7 centers next year.
Yeah. Well, we talked about that before too. I mean, they have a good core off the bench, right? I think that Bell is great for them. So is McCaw if he develops like he was before. And oh my goodness, he didn't play today. The little guard.
Quinn Cook,
thank you. That's a nice 3 to start with. And you're talking about Iguodala perhaps and Livingston. I think that they're okay, but you're right. They need to upgrade. Either figure out what they're going to do with JaVale. Get rid of Zaza. Looney is gone, right? He's probably going to get signed for someone else, right?
I don't know. The center market's going to be pretty tight this summer, and Golden State has his bird rights, so they can figure something out. I think that they probably regret turning down that option, though.
Wait, now Looney is not hurt. He got played for like a minute.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, well, think about it though. It's about the matchup with these guys.
Yeah, but
Jordan Bell's a better matchup against Cleveland. He's able to use his speed a little bit more and exploit the matchup when he's being guarded by Tristan Thompson or Kevin Love. Okay. Whereas in the last series, Capella's pretty quick and Looney's a little bit more stout. Not to mention Looney does a better job of not fouling against Harden and Chris Paul.
Right. I thought Looney was doing an okay job against LeBron in those ISO situations too, but I guess it's the – and by the way, who knows? Game 4,
and Bell was good
gets
tonight.
a run. Yeah.
And Bell was really good tonight.
Yeah.
He had a dunk, and he looked like he accidentally jumped too high. I thought he was going to hit his mouth on the rim. I mean, it was really close.
He is very springy, for sure.
He really is, yeah. If they can work out – if they can get him a jump shot, it's all she wrote.
Yeah. No, I'm telling you, because he could be Draymond 2.0, because he can pass. And he had a pass. He saw a pass, and he made it, whatever. A couple times I've seen him in this playoffs where it's like, whoa, that's next level vision. So he just needs more experience and a jump shot, and look out. Because you know what? Draymond's jump shot's broke. So
somebody on Twitter said that it looks like he's wearing a backpack every time he shoots a jump shot.
Right.
And now I can't see it any other way.
It's a catapult, and he just bends his legs way too much. And when he doesn't do that, they go in, and it's so simple. I swear I'm gonna make it my effort this summer to try and track him down and help him, because it's such an easy fix for him to get to like at least 36, 37%, because I don't think he's close to that. Now, over the regular season, maybe he was, but I don't know. Either way, we have another couple questions here we can go to. Jeff Tao asks, Coach, do you think that the 3-2 zone can weaken KD's performance just like Boston did to Kobe in 2008? Wow, you're trying to maybe go back 10 years to remember that. I don't know. Obviously, the zone would be a terrible idea, I think, against the Warriors, don't you think?
Yeah, they'll just shoot right over the top of it.
Yeah. They're too clever, too. They'll get like these really cool little, hammer actions in the weak side and pin that guy down, and then, I think it'd be over. There are too many good playmakers in that team. How about this one? Ashish Rao asks, do you think the regular season should be taken more seriously by LeBron and the Cavs if they want to find these mistakes earlier? Interesting. Dave, what do you think?
Yeah, I don't know. What do you think? I'm curious.
I would, it would make it a lot easier on you and I, just because we wouldn't have to guess on how they're going to, if we had to base our analysis on the regular season, then we'd think they wouldn't make the first round. So, although that said, LeBron played all 82 games.
He did, and that was a goal of his.
Yeah, even though he didn't play, the defense a lot of the time.
Right.
But, it is a good point. Like, the regular season does give you that solidification of a defense and the rotations and the focus and all those things that make you a hardened team ready to win. And, if you don't do it like that, those things don't often turn them on. Again, you can get to the finals like LeBron did, but that's you're going to hit a wall at some point.
Yeah, it's hard to correct bad habits in April, May, and June.
Yes.
So
yeah. So and then they don't even have the habits. That's the thing. They have to develop the habit first. So anything else you see in the comments over on Periscope as we start to wrap this thing up?
No.
Coach isn't on drugs anymore. Looking better. Yeah, I got a little sleep. I took a nap this afternoon.
Yeah, I saw someone ask you to fix my jumper. My jumper needs no work. It's good to go.
I know. I saw it on my driveway, and now I'm forgetting what it looked like.
It's butter.
Okay. Great.
Yeah. My knees, on the other hand, though, are bugging me. So.
My left knee is about to, I can't get up the stairs, and my right shoulder, by the way, it hurts. And so when I try and shoot, it hurts, and so I'm already like, so I need some help. I need some good Pilates work. Why did Jordan Clarkson game become so goddamn awful from being a dynamite scorer against for the Lakers? That's from Izzy Mack. You want to answer that one, Dave?
I mean, I don't know. Good. Decent stats on a bad team.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. But also, there is a thing. The LeBron thing is a thing. Not that he makes his teammates better or worse or whatever, but there is a severe adjustment that many players need to make when you go play with LeBron on his team. And some guys just can't do it. Some guys take a lot longer than, he just got there in February. It took Chris Bosh how long before he could figure it out? Almost a year, I would say. Right?
He was good by the time the playoffs came around.
So he needed the whole season. Jordan Clarkson didn't even have that. He had a few months. So that's part of it. But it's just not Clarkson's better when he's handling the ball a lot, and that's just never going to happen on a LeBron team. So and that's why Kyrie left. So anyhow, we have a couple of really quick questions. Afro No Mo wants to say, do the Rockets beat the Cavs as easily as the Warriors with or without Chris Paul? Yeah, right. Well, I don't know. Without Chris Paul, do the Rockets beat the Cavs?
Probably.
Yeah. And then Affordium asks, do you think the Cavs supporting cast are really this bad, or are we expecting too much from an old LeBron that just isn't what he used to be?
No, LeBron is averaging like 35, 9 and 9 in 21 games of the playoffs, which is basically a quarter of a season. No, this is not. None of this is on LeBron.
Right. Fair enough. Well, all this is on you and I guess me for putting together another great show.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
And we're not coming back after Game 4 on Friday.
We're not? Is that for sure?
I mean,
you're not coming back to Oakland. Okay, but are we going to do a live post-game show?
I don't know. I guess we're going to have to play it by ear.
Yeah.
It's going to be tough. I'm going to be in Montana,
Yeah.
So, I mean, we'll figure it out.
And I got the neighborhood dinner club to go to around the corner.
Yeah, maybe we do, maybe they kick it to a Game 5 and we get one in after Game 5. But
yeah. Or Saturday.
We do a season post-mortem after.
Right. All right. Well, we'll see how that works out. But again, Dave, thanks for hopping on with us and giving us all the breakdown stuff. As always, it's kind of making me sad because I realize that another season's under our belt.
I know. This is almost 2 full seasons of this.
Well, listen, thank you to everybody out there who's been part of the conversation. It's not over yet, but it's getting there.
Hang on, Nick. Hang on. Someone in the Periscope chat just challenged me to a 3-point shooting contest.
Oh, wow. I remember one of my players would do that when I was coaching in high school, and it never ended well for them.
Yeah, mine knew better because I scrimmaged with them.
Yeah,
so they knew better.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be out in Vegas during Summer League.
Okay.
I'll be there the entire Summer League. So come out, say hi. Also, check out sportsbusinessclassroom.com.
Hey, free plugs. You got it.
That's right.
Friend of the breakdown, Larry Coons.
That's
baby.
Right. Yeah, come, check it out if you're interested in the salary cap or scouting in video or social media or digital branding. Check that out. But I'll be out in Vegas the whole time. So if you come to Vegas, holler at me, and I will beat you in a 3-point contest. But not for money because I don't gamble.
We'll just do it for, we'll film it and put it on the YouTube channel. So anyhow, great stuff. We will all see you tomorrow on my YouTube channel. I'll get a couple videos out on this game and whatever else is happening. A lot of great ideas. Dave, thanks for being here. Guys out there, thanks for being here. Gigolo Puff, again, thanks for moderating on YouTube. And don't forget, sports fans, at BBallBreakdown, we're not a channel. We're a conversation. You win? You win, Dave?
Yes, I am.